evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Exchange. Yes, we are back better than ever, and also 2025. So, if you're looking for a four-digit lottery number, go to 2025. Of course, so many people are taking it anyways. We have a brand new year. We're glad to have you. Looking forward to entertaining you all in 2025. With that said, we have a really busy show ahead of us. Let me introduce the crew before I get, and then we'll get right to the topics. Candy Ebling to my right. Welcome back, Can.
Thanks. Great to be here.
And JB Ellis. What's going on,
What's
Mr.
going on,
Ellis?
everyone? Hope everyone that's out there had a fabulous New Year, great Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back, Joe. And last but not least, the Pens man.
How you guys doing? Welcome back. It's a new year. Let's start the year off perfect.
All right, well, we're going to start the show off perfect because Mr. Ellis wrote a story on Travis Hunter. So I'm going to ask you, Joe, you're going to lead off with this one, all right, my friend? Is Travis Hunter the most complete player in the 2025 NFL draft?
Listen, he's one of the top receivers in college football. That alone would be phenomenal. Then he's one of the top defensive backs in college football. I don't remember the last time we saw a two-way player in college football, let alone someone that could do it at the next level. I don't think he will in the pro level. But, you know, he's phenomenal. What he does, he changes the game because he handles both sides of the ball. Not many people can do that. Growing up, we all played offense and defense, and everyone always wants to play every play. But this guy actually plays almost every down or played almost every down for the Colorado Buffaloes. And besides doing it, he's done it at an exceptional level, and looking at the bowl game for Boise, Genty had a horrible game, which kind of reinforced in a lot of people's mind why Hunter did win the Heisman, based on the fact that, when Genty went up against a Power 5 school, he kind of got stopped. I think he's special. I'm hoping he falls to number 3 and the Giants take him, and we sit out another year for a quarterback, and maybe we get Manning in a couple of years. We got Genty and Neighbors, and we got a pretty special thing going on there.
You know what I liked about the pick for Hunter being the Heisman is you finally didn't have a quarterback or a running back win it. I always wondered, is this a quarterback award or not? You get a two-way player like this. Unbelievable. Coach Deion Sanders did a heck of a job with this guy, and I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly what he can do. Pensman, any thoughts about Travis Hunter?
Like JB said, he's a really good player, good two-way player. I was impressed with him. Deion did really exceptional way he came out. I didn't think he should have won the Heisman Trophy, but I think he should have won second. But it is what it is. But I think he'll be all right. I think he will drop down to third, like JB said, and the Giants should pick him up. But because if you think about it, you got Sanders and a couple of quarterbacks in front of him. So that's my take on him.
Candy?
So he's a phenomenal player, obviously. Anybody that can do what he's done at the level he is. I mean, he ranked second in the nation with 14 touchdown catches, fifth with 92 total catches, and sixth in receiving yards with 1,152. And think about that. He did ranked that high, and yet he played how many different plays? Like, most of us are tired after you play a game and you play and you excel on one level and one side of the ball. I mean, we talk about, no offense, NBA, but drama league. You gotta rest your players. Oh, I gotta take a night off because I'm too tired, and load management. And here you got a guy that's playing how many percent plays on the field. That's just phenomenal. Now, whether you guys think he will fall to the Giants, I don't know. The Giants were scouting at the Pop Tarts Bowl, and that's why Cam Ward played the first half of the game, was because the Giants were scouting him. So I don't know.
They do need a quarterback.
Now, whether he'll fall to, whether the Titans will take, I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see who gets who in that draft.
I know Candy was going to drop that nugget about Cam Ward and the Giants. I just knew she was going to do that. And me personally, I think Cam Ward's the best quarterback in the draft. I don't care about the other players. Am I being partial toward my own guy? Sure I am, but I can tell you right now, all you have to do is look at the passing records to begin with and all the yardage numbers. He's an athletic quarterback. But I think that the Heisman Trophy is the most overrated trophy on the planet. But that reinforces my point why Travis Hunter does deserve it, because he's the best player that finally won that award. And that's why Joe, your story to me came across in the manner that it did, is that you wrote a story on a guy who's a complete player that does it both ways. And that's what caught my attention. That's why we're leading off with it tonight, because I really enjoy I'm so tired of quarterbacks and running backs winning that award. Give me the last one that I remember. Yeah, Charles Woodson to me was a heck of a player many years ago. That was a non-quarterback, and Desmond Howard, I think, was the other. But this kid here, I'm curious to see what kind of career that he has and where he lands. All right, so onward we go. You got the NCAA playoffs going on this weekend. We're going to get some predictions, and then we'll continue moving on. You've got Notre Dame and Penn State on Thursday night in the Orange Bowl. Candy, who do you have?
This one's. I'm going to say Notre Dame.
Okay.
The way they've been playing, I'm going to say Notre Dame.
Okay. Next one, Friday, Cotton Bowl, Ohio State against Texas.
Ohio State's looking awfully tough. I've got Ohio State.
Okay, Joe, there's only 2 games. We don't need Memory 101, but I'll say them again. Okay. You got Notre Dame and Penn State. Who do you have?
Notre Dame, I think. I don't think that there's going to be much of a game in this game. Notre Dame's, after they lost to NIU, they've been playing on another level.
Right.
And I think that they're going to go out there and control the game.
Okay. And then the next contest we have, Ohio State, Texas. Who you got?
So I would love to see Texas win because I hate the Ohio State University. But for the positive, their band will get to perform in the national championship at halftime. So,
okay,
because the team itself, I don't want to watch. I don't want to see Ryan Day. I don't want to see anything to do with them. But unfortunately, I'll have another week of having to watch them.
Okay, so in other words, in your own way, without trying to come out on the limb in the most words possible to avoid or mask my question, I would assume that with that hat turned backwards, okay, that you have, for those that are watching, that you're predicting Ohio State, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said it. I don't want to say it, but yes.
All right, so in other words, you're agreeing with me, right?
Of course.
Okay. Let me tell you, this is what I got to deal with in the locker room. Now I'm dealing with it on my show. Seriously? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, Ellis. I'm proud of you. All right, Penzin, you know what we have here.
I got, if Notre Dame gets to Drew Aller like they did last game, it's going to be all Notre Dame. But if Singletary can get past the Notre Dame defense, it's going to be back and forth, but I have Notre Dame winning this one. And I can't stand Ohio State because I'm a Michigan fan, but I got Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm with you all the way on the Michigan side. I'm definitely going with Notre Dame. I am not sold on James Franklin at all. I don't care what he's done in his first 2 games.
He's going to choke eventually.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I was going with this one. I'm going Notre Dame all the way. The job that Marcus Freeman has done with the Irish is phenomenal. He really is a good young coach. And as far as the Texas-Ohio State game, I'm going with Ohio State because they manhandled Oregon and they manhandled Tennessee. So how do you not go with Ohio State? Putting all my feelings aside and playing that role of being objective, that's why I'm making this pick. I don't have the ability like J.B. Ellis to go ahead and take about 30 seconds to disguise what he wants to say and put me back in a regular locker room to hide the answer, which is the obvious one. And I did a good job hiding your answer. So no, I'm going
The
Ohio
best,
State. They're looking
the best
awfully
band
good.
in the Midwest is going to win. That's
Yeah,
battle of the bands. We're not worried about the football game.
yeah. I mean, think
I'm
about
not really a huge Texas guy anyway, so I don't know.
Drumline.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that. I like Ohio State. I mean, listen, I'm just looking at this thing objectively. The fact that they manhandled Tennessee and Oregon the way they did, it's pretty hard to go against them. And
How
we'll leave it
many,
at that.
Scott? How many Division One college football teams are there? Approximately, you don't have to give it. So it's all like 110 or something. But there may be more.
I thought it was 130 now, isn't it?
It could be. There are two teams I truly can't stand.
Okay.
They are one of them, and Alabama's the other. So,
Well, good. Then I'll bet you were thrilled to death there that Michigan beat Alabama if they were like.
it was great.
I'm telling you, we talked about
Anytime
that
we could
last
see them
night.
lose.
In fact, we talked about that last night on Inside the Pigskin too, because we had a little extra time on our hands. Nobody liked the game because it was an ugly football game. But keep in mind, Michigan has beaten Alabama twice in the last calendar year. Facts don't lie. Okay, one more topic. Go to station break after that. The NFL playoff game you're looking forward to the most. Candy?
The one I want to, well, the one that I'm looking forward to the most is going to have to be my Packers Eagles. I think it's going to be a tough road for the Packers, knowing that they're obviously Christian Watson's out for the year and for a lot longer with a torn ACL. Jordan Love is practicing though, so yes, he got banged up. Malik Willis got banged up. Do I think it's going to be a good game? I'm hoping it's going to be a good game. I guess if I'm leading with my heart, that's the game I really want to see. But that's because that's my team. So how can I not say that?
Yeah.
But if I have to pick a different game, Scott, the other game that I think will be interesting, I think, is the Washington Commanders Tampa Bay Bucks game.
Yeah, you always find a way to go out there and stretch that extra mile.
Hey.
And in this segment, I'm not asking anybody to get predictions on these games. I'm not asking. I just want to know the game you're looking forward to. I just want to make sure I preface that. Okay, Joe, you know the question?
So Sunday night, when my email went off and I checked it and I saw that the playoff schedule came out, I was like, cool. And then they put it up on NBC, what I thought was going to be a good game, but the Lions destroyed the Vikings. I saw the schedule and I was like, I'm really not excited about any of these games. There's nothing that stands out. We spoke about this last night, and I guess if I had a pick, if you put a gun to my head and said pick a game you're going to watch, it's going to be Washington against Tampa, because I mean Baker against Jaden Daniels, the two most intriguing quarterback matchup. You know, can we get the Steelers and Ravens off Saturday Night Football? Do we need to have them in prime time? Can we put them like Sunday at 12 so I could go out and maybe do something? You know, the Eagles.
Thank you, JB. Thank you.
That would be a great game to watch. I mean, if we to put in prime time on Saturday night.
You guys are doing a great job putting two games in there when I only asked you for one. Seriously? Really? I swear to God, baby. I only asked for one. Oh, my goodness. Look what you started here, Candy. Really? Seriously, Candy?
Yes.
Now you got them all doing it. Come on, Candy. Seriously, really.
I'm inviting everybody to my country club. Come on.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. That's a damn good country club on Thursday night with you, Benjamin, and the rest of them. So, all right, Ellis, you've already put out two. Give me the one, man.
Oh, I told you that the Tampa against Washington.
Yeah,
but I'm just confused.
But it got hit with all your other stuff like you did it in
No, it didn't. I explained how I was just so unhappy with the schedule. I don't want the Steelers on Saturday night. Give the Texans Saturday night against the Chargers. That's a fun game. People should want to watch that. Nobody wants to watch the Steelers offense. I love Mike Tomlin.
Hey!
But nobody wants to watch those guys.
Talking to here. I agree with you though. Yeah, Pittsburgh's offense is a little stale, but
hey! You're killing me, man.
Disguising my question here. Seriously, really? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know an hour ago. I wasn't sure I could get up for this thing because I wasn't feeling good. But I'm feeling good with you guys. You know how to set me off pretty good. All right, so you're looking. So you and Candy both, taking her hometown bias off of it. Both of you are drinking the Commanders and the Bucks Kool-Aid. Okay, all right, Penman, go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to go on a big spiel because to save you the trouble. So,
well, these two did already.
I'm going. I know. I'm going with the Commanders and Bucks too because of what Jaden Daniels is doing, and the other one is the Chargers and the Texans.
Well, there you go again. That's two.
I got two.
One. Nobody knows how to count the one here. Really?
I could have talked about my Steelers, but I didn't.
Damn, it doesn't matter. You still hit two. The only words that I know in Spanish are uno, dos, tres, and el stupido. And I've been called that by a Puerto Rican woman I dated. Big deal. Old anyway. And then, which is why I never took Spanish in school anyway. You three people here said two. I only asked for one. Really?
Show us how to do it. Show us how to do it.
Yeah, I know you three can give me a bang for my buck. All right. But you know
Show us how to do it, Scott.
Okay. Huh?
Which game are you looking forward to?
I'm only counting one because I got three people here that know how to count to two. Actually, the one I'm looking forward to is a Monday night game, but we don't know where it's going to be played at. We anticipate it'll be out in LA. I know the wildfires are out there, and I want to send my deepest prayers for all those individuals affected by the California wildfires. But the one game I'm actually looking to, and yes, folks, I do know how to count to one, is the Minnesota Vikings against the LA Rams. You got Sam Darnold against Matthew Stafford. That should be a pretty interesting contest to watch. If the game played in LA, you think about it. Sam Darnold obviously went to school, I believe, at USC, right? And of course, Matt Stafford won the Super Bowl in LA. But no, I'm only giving you one. These three gave two because they were trying to skirt the question, and they did a darn good job doing it. And you know what? Because we're in the business of having fun and entertaining, I'm letting it go. And I've had more energy in the last 5 minutes than I have over the last several hours. So good stuff by the crew. Now we're going to transition over to Candy Ebling Station break. Go ahead.
South Florida Tribune. We published something last year, and it was a book. It is called Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. Watch out. And I'd say give us a little bit of time, and you're going to see the audio version of that book come to fruition finally. We're definitely working on that. And Scott is actually working on a second book, the sequel. Don't know the title yet, but stay tuned for that. If you want to buy this book, you can also find a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where you can find a plethora of great content, some good pictures. Go check us out. If you like to listen to our podcast, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Monday nights, we typically talk baseball. Tuesday nights, football. Wednesday nights, you just never know what we're talking about. Obviously, we're talking about 1-2 games that we're looking forward to instead of just one. And then if you want to be a guest on a show or have show ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. And if you want to advertise and sponsor a show, call Scott, 954-304-4941. Back to you, Scott.
Well done, Candy. Keep looking at you three, and I figure you three don't know how to count to one. You know how to count to two. But all right, anyways, onward we go. Jimmy Butler's suspension will cost $532,737 for each game. Missed 7 games equal $3.7 million for a guy that doesn't play with Miami, and he's been suspended for conduct detrimental to the team. Candy, that's a lot of cabbage, and I like Jimmy Butler as a player. Sometimes it looks like he wears out his welcome after a few years. But Candy, some thoughts about Jimmy Butler. I know he's a heart of that team, and he have not made a lot of significant moves to try to get him a little bit of help. They have a pretty good core there, and they win, but he's seeking a championship. Can he continue on from here?
This 35-year-old reportedly plans to decline his $52.4 million player option this offseason. He has the Golden State Warriors, Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks, and Phoenix Suns among his preferred destinations, but has advised that the Memphis Grizzlies not to trade for him. He's averaging 17.6 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 4.7 assists through 22 games this season. Is he going to miss that little bit of money? No. He's not going to miss that kind of money. He's been a good player. But hey, if he's going to have the attitude and he's not going to be good for the team, then good for them for suspending him for whatever, for as long as they feel that they need to. It's too bad that it has come down to this. A player that of his stature and his career to come down to this. So, they've discussed several trades. They're trying to work on it, but I don't know how quickly that's going to get done.
I know one thing, Pat Riley's a no-nonsense individual. He won't tolerate any nonsense. All right, Joe.
So, real quick, what caused this whole problem to begin with? Where did, Jimmy lose his marbles?
Pat Riley called him out.
And Pat Riley's his boss. It happens all the time. So we don't want to play anymore. Like, you get paid to play basketball. You know what? He can go and work at McDonald's, and I'm sure anybody that works at McDonald's will trade places and salaries with him. And I'm sure people get yelled at by their boss from time to time. Is there something in the water in Miami? Because you got Jimmy and Tyreek that, he went crazy after the Dolphin game the other day. But listen, Jimmy's had a problem everywhere he's been. He's a great basketball player. He's just got to play basketball. You could talk. You could, you could even say you're upset that Pat came after you. That you don't accept that he should come talk to you personally. Maybe if he would have said that, I'd have a little bit more respect for him. But it is what it is, man. Your boss criticized you. It's a basketball game. We're going to make mistakes. There's not one professional athlete that I've ever seen that's been perfect throughout their career. Jordan's made mistakes. Peyton Manning, look at his when he won a Super Bowl. He could have thrown the ball, and Denver found a way to win the Super Bowl for him. Everybody makes mistakes. Get over it.
I agree. Pat Riley's not anybody, in my opinion, that he's a man of authority. He's won a lot of championships. He knows what it's like. And if you're not giving your best shot and you're not playing 100% your heart's on that, he doesn't say, Pete, we don't need you. And bear in mind, he wouldn't let LeBron James run the franchise either. Pat Riley is the Miami Heat. He's been there 30 years. My goodness. We all know what he did with Los Angeles. And you're right, Tyreek Hill has had a bit of an attitude problem too. And look where the Miami Dolphins are right now. Obviously, they're not in the playoffs again. Continue on, Penman.
What JB said, there must be something in the water because Tyreek, he flipped out on Sunday. And a lot of athletes are complaining. And they got Antonio Brown. He was flipping out about stuff. And Tyreek now, Jimmy Butler now. Why can't you just go to the stadium, practice, and play the games and go home? That's all you get paid for. If we civilians did this, we'd be fired right out of the gate. Right. And if you get suspended, you deserve it. You're not going to miss your money. You're going to just keep yapping. I don't know.
I agree. Okay, one more NBA top parting shots. First of all, we have an NBA Cup legend. Yes. Am I being sarcastic? Kind of. Well, an NBA Cup legend. His name is Darvin Ham. Really? Him? Yes. 7-0 as a Lakers head coach, and they won it all. And he's 7-0 as a Bucks assistant coach. 14-0 all time. Two-time NBA Cup champion. My goodness, where's Will Chamberlain? Where are all these guys that missed out on the glorious NBA Cup, the brainchild of Adam Silver? No wonder he's not called Adam Gold. Okay. But meanwhile, a little footnote: the LA Lakers are 2016 and 6 in the Western Conference, and they're run by JJ Redick. I don't think Darvin Ham should have ever been fired from the Lakers, anyway. But you know what, Darvin? I'll give you your prompts. You have 2 NBA Cups. I don't know if they even give out rings for that in-season gimmick. But Candy, what are your thoughts about Darvin Ham being a 2-time champion for the NBA Cup?
Good for him. I mean, the NBA needed to do something. They were trying to get excitement going get more viewership. Let's face it, especially the early on, they're going against the NFL and college football. And I don't know. I'm a football girl, so will they win me? No. But they were trying to, cause more excitement and, did Darvin deserve to be fired? No, but does the NBA Cup mean anything? No. At least it doesn't I mean, let's face it, the Lakers won it last year, but did they win the whole thing? Nope.
Fair enough, JB.
Why is the NBA Cup over the first week in December?
Yeah.
Why would you put it during college football championship week? Why would you compete against something that's huge with something that doesn't mean anything? Space it out. Why don't you have the NBA Cup Finals at the All-Star game? Turn the All-Star game into a 3-day thing and make the NBA Cup Friday night the championship. Now you have something in February after the Super Bowl, and you space it out a little bit and draw some interest. I mean, do I need to run the NBA? And, Darvin Ham, good for him, 7-0 and 7-0. That's pretty cool. I mean, listen, the NBA Cup, it's a fun thought. They do it in soccer. From what I gather, because I'm not in Europe, most teams don't really care about the cup. What makes the cup so interesting is they have, for example, in England, you'll have your Premier League teams, and you'll have your lower teams that aren't in the Premier League that play against them, and they can compete. Now, nobody ever wins from the bottom levels, but you have a chance, and that's what it's about. The NBA Cup, it's just the NBA teams playing in a different schedule, in a different format, so it's, who cares? It's their, just playing each other anyway. But, that's what makes the Cup so exciting elsewhere. Most of the pro-level teams can care less about it, but they'll play and they'll do what they can, because they don't want to look bad, but they're not trying to kill the other teams. And it's, oh, we win, or if they're playing another top-tier team because that's how the schedule breaks down. Oh, if we lose, we got to rest guys because we have in-season stuff. We don't care.
Right.
It's just it's a good idea. It just needs to be fitted better, and they need to figure out what would make it work. There's so many things wrong with the NBA. This isn't Magic and Bird's NBA. This isn't Jordan's NBA.
Right.
This is a bad product right now, and there are so many superstars in the NBA that I would enjoy watching, but they just don't market it like they used to. Whether it was David Stern was a genius, or the players. I'm not going to say the players were better, because they were in certain ways, but there are superstars now. Ja Morant, he's phenomenal. Victor Wembanyama, unbelievable.
Right.
Steph Curry still playing. There are so many guys. So, there's no reason they can't draw people. They got to figure it out, because they're in trouble.
Yeah, the 3-point shots killed the game. Let's face reality. How many games has Kawhi Leonard played this year? Played any. Joel Embiid never plays any games. He's always hurt. Then he's running his big mouth. And this Jimmy Butler thing hasn't helped the image of the NBA either. You got a bunch of prima donnas playing a game where they're making a bunch of boatload of money. Continue on, Benjamin.
I don't think I'm a huge. Hold on. I used to be a big NBA fan when Jordan was there. Iverson was in there. But now the NBA Cup, I fall asleep. It's boring. I don't care for it. But Ham, Good job. Not too many people have accomplished that. That's a great achievement, but the NBA Cup, there's no need for it. And the reason why they can't do it in February is because of the slam dunk contest and the 3-point contest, and everybody loves that, JB. That's why they can't do it in February. Unless you remove it, I don't know. But
No, you play it Friday night where they play the celebrity game and all the other stupid stuff that they
you could
don't
do
need
that.
to
You could
have.
do that. But
You have the
yeah,
championship game. There's
that'll
ways to
work.
do it.
Yeah, I could work well on that. But I'm just saying that the NBA Cup, it's all right, but that's just my opinion. But Ham, good job. I'm proud of you of accomplishing that. So he deserves that.
Yeah, I don't want to take away from Darvin Ham either, because the guy was a pretty good player. He really was. And he's got the mindset to be an excellent coach. And I do hope that Darvin Ham gets another opportunity to lead the NBA team.
He
Lately,
should
nobody
have
in
gotten fired though.
I don't think he should have either. In fact, I think he got a raw deal out in LA. JJ Redick isn't a bad coach, but Darvin Ham's accomplishments in the league certainly far outweigh what JJ Redick has done. They really have.
The authority got to his head.
Exactly. I just hope Darvin Ham gets an opportunity to go ahead and lead another team. I'm not taking anything away from the man himself. In fact,
I
I
got
think
power. You're gone.
well, Doc Rivers made a great move bringing Darvin Ham back to Milwaukee. That was a really good move by Doc Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
So more power to Darvin, and I think that the NBA Cup is buried in the regular season, and I would go along with Joe. If you want to make it worthwhile and legitimate to watch, I would do it around the All-Star game time, not buried in the month of December at all, because you're getting nowhere with it. All right, now we go to parting shots. Candy, lead off.
Oh, my parting shot. Give me just a second. I had it just a minute ago, and then So kudos to Bruce Pearl. He sets the Auburn record with his 214th victory as the number 2 Tigers hold off Texas. So kudos to him for coaching as long as he has. He's coached in a number of different places, but to come up with his 214th victory, kudos to him.
Yeah. Joe?
Listen, as the sports season changes, we're going into the playoffs in the NFL. We have college football playoffs for the first time in college. We're in about a month, we're going to be done with football, and we're going to be waiting for baseball. I'm seeing baseball Hall of Fame ballots on the internet, and it kills me because one of the greatest players of all time still isn't in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds. You cannot deny he had 2 of the best careers in baseball. He had before we think he was on PEDs and after he was possibly on PEDs, allegedly. He had 2 different careers that were better than most players that ever played. He would be in the top 5 twice if they were 2 separate careers, and this guy doesn't get to go to Cooperstown. I don't get it. Not everyone in Cooperstown's a saint. Let's stop it. Let's get people that belong in Cooperstown there. Him, Roger Clemens, Pete Rose. Let's just get it done. It's stupid.
Yeah. Husband?
Mike Tomlin, I'm tired of you. I talked about you last night. I'm tired of you. You need to get fired. You need to leave Pittsburgh. It's time for a new face. Get out of Pittsburgh. I'm tired of this one and done in Pittsburgh. I had it. I've had enough. That's mine.
Okay. All right. The Miami Marlins unfortunately suffered a tough break. Left-handed pitcher Braxton Garrett will miss the entire 2025 season after going UCL revision surgery. It's unfortunate. The Miami Marlins are going right now through a massive rebuild. The last thing they need to do is lose any more arms. They have a new manager in place. Obviously, this season here looks like a massive rebuild. It could be another losing campaign. I wish the Marlins well and hope the rebuild doesn't take too long. But at a time where you're trading a lot of your marquee players to use the kids, this is the last thing that the Marlins needed. Also, I do want to point out something that to me was very dear to me over on Saturday. I lost somebody very important in my life as Uncle Gene Ryson died at the age of 92. He was on oxygen. But for those individuals that have purchased my book or are looking to get it, I have a couple of good stories about Uncle Gene Ryson. So I'm going to dedicate the Sports Exchange to Gene Ryson. He's a guy that, to me, is unquestionably one of the most important people in my lives. I work with him at a restaurant back in Highland, Michigan, but more importantly, we used to do all kinds of stuff together, and I was able to get up there during the NFL draft in Detroit and give him my book and autograph it. So, Uncle Gene, I love you very much. Candy, why don't you tell the public what type of an individual that you saw from Uncle Gene and the times that we had an opportunity to spend with him?
He was a very welcoming, friendly guy that like opened his arms to you. He was a great guy. He was well loved. You could tell when we went to the restaurant, all the different people that knew him, all the different clientele that were, would come by and say hi and stuff like that. So he was well loved. Good-hearted man.
I dreaded the day that this guy was going to pass away, but I'm going to tell you, every time I walked into his restaurant and every time I saw him, the first thing that happened with the two of us is we were hugging each other, talk about old times. And when we used to tell each other all the time that we loved one another, it was even more special. I did talk to him, I think, during the summer, but by that time, he was sleeping a lot more and age began to take a toll on him. So Uncle Gene Bryson, I love you very much and rest in peace. And I'm glad you're reunited with your wife, Diane. You've meant everything to me, but I'll never forget you, which is why I'm dedicating a lot of shows to you this week because you're so close and I'm never going to forget you. So on that note, Candy, give one more station break and we'll let everybody know how they can get a hold of us. So we'll get ready for some football this weekend.
South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by our host, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. It talks about his 40-plus years in the media industry and how it has changed. Old school media versus new school media. George Eichhorn wrote the foreword. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. Audiobook is going to come out later. Watch for details. You can also, there's a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where you can go out and buy this book. There's also a link to our sports, our apparel store, where you can buy South Florida Tribune hat, t-shirt, sweatshirt, or Motor City Madmouth t-shirt or sweatshirt. I would say most people would be wearing sweatshirts now because everybody seems to be cold. The deep freeze these days. If you like to listen to podcasts, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Monday nights, we talk baseball. Tuesdays, football. Wednesday and Thursday nights, you just never know what we're talking about. If you want to advertise, call Scott, 954-304-4941. If you want to be a guest on a show or have show ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. And if you missed any of that, it's been scrolling on the bottom, or you just hit the rewind button if you're listening to us on the podcast. Back to you, Scott.
And also, JB Ellis do a good job with Sideline Sports. So with that said, why don't you let everybody know how they can get a hold of you?
So sidelinesportsnet.com is the website. All the articles are up there. Got some articles from Scott, pictures from Candy. I don't know why Pensman doesn't have any articles up yet. I'm expecting some soon. I would think, you don't want to be left out. It's never good to be the odd man out.
I got you.
Candy designed the website. It's fabulous. Sideline Sports every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We're getting ready to go to our third Super Bowl on Radio Row. We'll have a table there again this year. Great job by the whole team at Sideline Sports. There, everywhere, and here, of course, every week.
Great stuff. All right, Pensman, let everyone know how they get a hold of you.
You can find me on X on Pensman Sports, and you can find me on YouTube on Pensman Sports. I'm at 707 subscribers. Let's get that up a little bit more.
Okay, some programming notes. Tomorrow night, another edition of the Sports Exchange with myself, George Eichhorn, Rob Peterson will talk hockey. And a little preview about that show. We're going to talk about former Florida Atlantic University coach Dusty Mays doing a good job for the University of Michigan, in addition to hockey. And also on afterwards, we have Fire Up, the country club, so to speak, with Candy Ebling. Candy, why don't you give everybody an overview of what your show on Thursday night's about? And another thing before you do that, Baseball Bowl will be returning on Monday night, 108 Inches Baseball Talk. And we had Inside the Pigskin last night. Go ahead, Candy.
Typically, we talk headline sports, but then we also have a segment called My Town where all the panelists are talk about something or whatever's happening in their town. It can be sports related, but it doesn't have to be. So tune in to find out what we're going to be talking about, because you just never know.
Okay. Any other things that you're doing? I know you have a pretty good thing going on Tuesday night.
Tuesday nights, the girls show. It's 3 chicks in a podcast, or we call it Chicks and Salsa. It just depends. They started it with 3 girls, and then they added a 4th. So we're like, really, if there's 4 of us, can we really be 3 chicks in a podcast? So we added Chicks and Salsa. So you just never know. We did a show this week, 7:30 Eastern, Tuesday nights.
Very good. And I'm looking forward to returning to the Super Bowl. I've already been to 4, covered 4 games. But this will be a very nice experience because Candy goes to New Orleans, and Joe Ellis and I get to work together on site. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I have a pretty interesting agenda when I usually go there. Call me, set my wife. But it'd be good to work with the folks over at Sideline Sports as well. Meet a few of their individuals in person, even though we've worked together on numerous shows throughout the last few years or so. So it's been great stuff. So I want to thank everybody for joining us on this edition of the Sports Exchange. So on behalf of Candy Ebling, Joe Ellis, and Pensman Sports, my name is Scott Morgan, our Motor City Mammoth. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back at it tomorrow night. So take care and have a good night. We'll see you next Wednesday. God bless everybody. And once again, prayers to those individuals down in California that are going through the wildfires. I will say one thing before we go off air, that if the game is not being able to be played at SoFi Stadium, then it looks like Phoenix will be the backup venue for it out at State Farm Stadium, where the home of the Cardinals. Hopefully the game will be played in LA and things settle down out in California. I've been to Southern California many times. I really love going to Southern California. I really do. And I have some good friends, so I'm hoping that they're not affected by it. So my prayers to everybody. And once again, Uncle Gene, I love you very much. Rest in peace. You're with me no matter what. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.